Ahoy, folks, and welcome back to Broadside Gaming with me, Zug. So, last week we had the veteran, I think, and this week we're doing the Ogryn. So let's jump in and take a look at some of the builds that I prefer using when we're playing Darktide. So, as you can see, the first build is a shield build. So let's jump in and see what we are actually using. So, of course, we're using the Battle Maul and Slab Shield. The modifiers are going to be as such. They are going to be damage, cleave damage, crowd control, and penetration, lol, as max, and defense is our dump stat. Taking defense as a dump stat because everything else is really useful, and honestly, I don't care about defense or mobility. I never have, and I'm never going to change my mind on it. Unless it suddenly becomes super awesome, it's the best one to drop. So, that is why. Perk-wise, we're going with Flak and Carapace. Flak being the most prevalent armor type in the game, so it's giving us the most damage against the most targets. And Carapace is going to allow us to deal with Crushers and Maulers pretty easily, although Maulers are only slightly Carapaced. Crushers are mostly Carapaced. So, yeah, there you go. And we're not going for Unyielding, because yes, Unyielding would give us more damage against Reapers and Bulwarks, but they're not that difficult to deal with, and with most monstrosities you're not going to be going toe to toe with it with the Slab Shield. You're going to be using the Rumbler to deal with it because you get way more damage out of it. As for the blessings, we're going with Skull Crusher, which gives us target receives 4 stacks of plus 10 damage if already staggered, lasting 5 seconds. And we're taking Opportunist, which gives us plus 25% rending versus staggered enemies. So as an Ogryn with a Slab Shield, you are a stagger machine, which means you're going to be laying out plus damage against everything that you stagger. It doesn't have to be you that staggers it either. Anything that is staggered will take this increased damage. So, everyone else in the team, they're staggering stuff. You also get the bonus against it. So this is going to give us a lot more just DPS to play with. And Opportunist now does outperform Brutal Momentum quite a bit. Although Brutal Momentum is a fun blessing to go with, Opportunist just works better. Anyway, on to the next weapon, which is the Rumbler. So, for the modifiers, we're going with Blast Damage, Ammo, Blast Radius, and Penetration, lol, Blast. Again, the mobilities are dump stat because we don't care, and we're trying to hit breakpoints. We're an Ogryn, we can't move properly anyway. For this, we are going with Carapace and Unyielding. This is going to help us against Bulwarks, Crushers, Reapers, Maulers, and Bosses. As our melee weapon is mostly going to be used for dealing with trash anyway, we don't really need to care about that with the Rumbler. The Rumbler is there to lay down damage against heavily armoured targets and also big targets, which is why we're taking Adhesive Charge. Your grenades stick to Ogryns and monstrosities, giving you plus 15% damage against the same. And we are also taking Shrapnel, plus 4 bleed stacks from Close Range Explosion. Mostly everything's going to be close range to you anyway, because you're going to be in the thick of things. Now, we're taking Shrapnel as well, because bleed is stupidly overpowered. And generally doesn't get hit by many of the diminishing returns that everything else does, or at least for the moment it doesn't. And due to the nature of bleed's ability to stack and its low base damage, it is highly beneficial to stack bleed, as each subsequent stack can greatly increase damage and the duration over. Basically, put bleed on things, keep stacking it, more damage, good, everything dead. There you go. I hate reading those AI generated explanations. They're stupid. Put bleed on things. Bleed is good. Bleed does not suffer from damage reductions too badly. And also, everything we're doing now is going to be laying down bleed, especially now that the Rumbler has it and all of our melee attacks are going to do it. Now, for the Curios, I'm going with the 1 health and 2 toughness Curio lineup. This is generally how I play the Ogryn. So the health one is going to have obviously plus 21% max health with toughness, stamina generation, and damage resistance gunners. I say it's in every video. We're taking the stamina generation because we want to shorten the time it takes for the stamina to actually start regenerating, not to actually speed up the regeneration. And the 12% does that nicely. And we're taking Gunner Resist because Gunners are absolutely terrifying in every single difficulty, especially Damnation, Damnation Auric, Maelstrom, and Havoc. And for the other two, they are Toughness and they are twins. So we've got Toughness, Extra Toughness, Damage Resistant Snipers, and Damage Resistant Gunners. Now, you can dump off the Damage Resistant Snipers for more health if you want. That third slot is basically up to you. I sometimes run the 40% to Snipers, or I change it out to 10% extra health on the two Curios. I always twin them, though. So that is generally whatever you want to do with these. Okay, let's jump in and take a look at the talents. So, there are a few things we can do here. So, let's just change that because that was wrong. We're going to start off with Furious. For each enemy you hit during the same heavy melee attack, gain 2.5% damage on your next melee attack. Into the best defense, replenish 20% toughness after hitting multiple enemies with a single heavy melee attack. Sorry, I keep yawning. It's incredibly late. I should really do these during the day, but I haven't, so, you know. Toughness boost into Smash 'em. Replenish 20% toughness after hitting a single enemy with a heavy melee attack. Into Heavyweight, the best talent in the tree. Plus 30% damage against Bulwarks, Crushers, Plague Ogrins, and Reapers, and also receive plus 30% damage reduction against the same. Into Linchpin, toughness replenishment while incoherency is increased by 50%. As I say in every video, stay in goddamn coherency. It really does help. Toughness boost over here, toughness boost over here, and we're taking bombs away. Now, why are we taking bombs away? Well, it's because I like to take Soften Them Up and Slam. If you really want to, you can take away this point and put it into Frag Bomb. Completely up to you. But I do like taking both Soften Them Up and Slam. And it's not a bad blitz ability. Obviously, it's not the best one, but it's not bad. It works the same way as the Big Friendly Rock, but it also explodes. You can throw this at something, aim for the face, generally kills it, and then explodes all around it. You do only get 2 of them, though, so be aware of that. It is pretty good for breaking up big hordes if you need to, but obviously, you know, you've got other things to do that. For example, your Rumbler. So, what's next? Soften Them Up. Enemies damaged by you take 15% more damage for 5 seconds. This is just a flat damage boost to everything that you do. Into Slam, plus 25% impact bonus on melee attacks. This is going to help you with your staggering. As impact bonus is basically just you can stagger more. Basically, there is an inbuilt kind of weight limit to what you can stagger. And with impact, that decreases the threshold to be able to say you could only stagger, say, a Mauler. But if you have more impact, you can then stagger a Crusher. So it kind of works like that. That's not exactly how it works, so don't quote me on this. It's just a very roundabout way of explaining what impact does. It is just stagger that is applied to you that you apply to things. Then into Toughness Boost, and then Indomitable. Charge forward with great force, knocking back enemies and staggering them. Gain plus 25% attack speed and plus 25% movement speed for 5 seconds. Charge is stopped on collision with monstrosities. Base cooldown is 30 seconds. Then we're going to be picking up Stomping Boots, which replenishes 10% toughness per enemy hit. And then we're taking Pulverize, apply 5 stacks of bleed on enemies hit by Indomitable. This does actually outperform Trample quite a lot in just pure damage. And also, it gives us more defense as well because we are taking Delight and Destruction. So Pulverize does actually outperform Trample quite a lot. And then into Rending, which gives us just 5% more damage. As Rending basically works is in 1% rending is 1% damage, kind of, more or less. Then into Batter, inflict plus 4 stacks of bleed on heavy melee hits. Then into heavy melee damage boost. Into Bonebreaker's Ore, which gives us 10% heavy melee attack damage for you and your allies in coherency. Into melee damage boost. And then we're picking up Delight and Destruction. Now, this is a very, very, very good ability. This is going to basically make everything that we do also defensive. Plus 8% damage resistance per bleeding enemy in melee range, stacking 6 times. So that is a lot of damage reduction we are getting from just doing our normal heavy attacks and using the Rumbler. There's nothing special we have to do apart from heavy attack and use the Rumbler. And all of those bleed stacks are not only going to cause us to do more damage, but also to take less damage. Then into Dominate, plus 10% rending for 10 seconds on elite kill. Yeah, it's alright. And then we're also taking toughness damage reduction here for 10% toughness damage reduction. Now we're going to jump into the middle. And we're taking the toughness boost here into Attention Seeker. Now, Attention Seeker is a very, very good ability. And if you don't know about this, I will quickly go over it. So blocking or pushing enemies taunts them for 8 seconds. But this also does allow you to block gunners. And when you block them, it taunts them. And there is a very good chance when you've taunted them that they will run into melee range with you. Now, some people say this doesn't happen all the time. Obviously, I can't verify that because I'm not every single goddamn player. I've seen it happen not every single time, but it does happen quite a lot. So, you know, your mileage may vary with this ability. But it is also very good for controlling the battlefield. Because all you got to do is block. And as we're using a shield, we will be blocking a lot. Because it's very good to block and use the push attack. Because that is applying stagger to things. And also, the follow-up attack is a nice overhead. If you have to, you know, deal with a single enemy. Not great. It's good, though. Your heavy attacks are basically where most of your damage is going to be coming from with the shield. So don't expect using the lovely bonky mace very much. I mean, you can use it. You should use it. But a lot of the damage will be coming from heavy attacks. So, that is Attention Seeker. And then we're going into Get Stuck In. On activating your combat ability, you and your allies at coherency gain plus 20% movement speed and are also immune to stun and suppression. This is very good, especially if you're having to charge through a very dangerous section of the map. This basically gives you and your team a free movement sprint into oncoming enemies and be able to ignore all that disgusting suppression. And it's really good for moving the fight along, so to speak. So, for example, if you're doing the hard mode Karnak Twins, getting between each side of the arena during the poison phase, this thing was an absolute godsend to all of us. You would use your ability, everyone else would get movement speed, and you'd be able to basically pass through everything dangerous to move to where you needed to be. And you can basically take that same sort of philosophy into everyday game sort of scenarios. And then we're taking a Bruiser, 4% combat ability cooldown reduction when you and your allies in coherency kill an elite enemy. Lets you charge more, which lets you get toughness back, which also allows you to apply bleeds, which gives you more damage, which also allows you to benefit from delight and destruction. A, B, C, oingo, boingo, boingo, do more things. There you go, everything's linked. Then into toughness boost, and then we're taking Won't Give In. Plus 20% damage reduction for each knockdown or incapacitated ally within 20 meters. This is a pretty decent oh crap button. If everyone is knocked down, if things are going poorly, this will give you a chance to try and save the match. No pushover. It does sound like a good thing, but I find it very lackluster. You can try it out yourself if you want. It doesn't seem to do much difference, to be honest. We have so much stagger that this just doesn't do very much for us. Then into a health boost, and then last but not least, we're taking Feel No Pain. You are blessed with 10 stacks of Feel No Pain. Each stack grants 2.5% toughness replenishment and 2.5% damage reduction. Taking damage removes 1 stack, and stacks are restored every 3 seconds. This is just going to make you a big tanky slab of meat. As you can see, there are 10 stacks down in the little buff bar. As you take damage, they will slowly decrease, but the more you play the character, the more you will learn how to avoid taking a lot of that damage. Some damage is obviously unavoidable, like chip damage, but this is just going to give you a huge amount of survivability. And which is why I would always suggest, if this is your first time playing an Ogryn, you should definitely try going the Feel No Pain route before trying anything else, as it is going to give you the best kind of learning experience. But there you go, folks. That is the, say, meta, air quotes, Ogryn Slab Shield build. I hope you do enjoy it, and if you do, please do like, subscribe, ring the bell for notification. It really does help us out, and I shall see you all for the next one. So until then, take it easy, See you later.